Hello, my dears. Welcome to Jessica's Intuition. Welcome to the next weekly reading. Before we start here, I definitely need to mention a few things briefly. For those who are not interested, feel free to fast forward. We are looking at the week of the 24th March until the 30th of March. March is coming to an end, and the week after that, we are already in April. Before we start, I noticed in the last weekly reading, it was definitely better received by you that I did all 12 zodiac signs as a general message. That was clear to me. So it has always been like that in the past. In my first year, I did it. Then at some point, I stopped doing it altogether. Then I tried it again. So in 2021, 2022, and then finally in 2023, I didn't do it anymore. And last year, 2024, not at all. I would like to try that. So I definitely want to keep doing it for all 12 zodiac signs. I actually try to film it on Friday or Saturday evening, depending on when I have time, so that you all receive it on Sunday. I can't always promise that it will be ready by 8 o'clock on Sunday, maybe a little later. In any case, I've decided to publish them all on Sunday and not before. I've also been considering whether to publish them earlier once they're finished, but I think I'll release them all at the same time on Sunday. Unless I change my mind during the week. No idea, I'll think it over carefully. As I said, I don't know if everything will work out by 8 o'clock in the morning this time. It's almost Saturday night now. Yeah, I'll just have to see. Then I definitely wanted to mention here that there were a few comments last week that I didn't like. First of all, this is my channel. If I want to include an introduction here, then I will. That's the first thing. I don't know how long it will be. I say that in advance. You're not forced to listen to it. You can also feel free to fast forward. As I said, if you're only interested in the card reading, you can actually leave my channel. I'm very straightforward about this because I want to have a community here that stands behind me and appreciates what I say. And it's not just all about the card reading. I've said it before, I'm not a card reading machine, that it's solely about the card reading here. This is also about astrology, and I actually mention in every weekly reading what we can expect astrologically in the week. I am genuinely happy, I must honestly say, when people reach out and leave a comment. That's how you can find the fly in the ointment and simply fish it out. So I have deleted a few comments and actually blocked a few users. As I said, if something doesn't suit me, I just do it. And I wanted to mention that I find it very disrespectful to even bring it up. And as I said, I don't want to give it a platform here, nor do I want to bother with it anymore. I just want to mention it here once. Anyone who stands out to me will be blocked immediately. All right, that's just a preliminary note. The 72-hour forecast was also very well received by you. It will be available again on Thursday for all 12 zodiac signs. What I noticed there were the timestamps I mentioned at the beginning of the video. That I won't be adding timestamps, that I won't write down when each sign comes up. If any of you would like to do that, you are welcome to, and I would be very grateful. I also take note of such things, and maybe I'll pick you out someday and you'll receive a little goodie from me. Always remember, it's a give and take. I am reading the cards for you here. I don't have time for everything, and unfortunately, I don't have time to do that for all 4 channels as well. That's why I didn't do it. And as I said, you are welcome to write in the comments when your reading begins. I am not upset about that. I am very grateful for it. There's good karma for you. And as I said, you simply stand out to me because of that. Comments like the timestamps are missing or whatever stand out negatively. I just wanted to mention that so you are informed. I see everything. I also see things that are not visible. So in that sense, I see everything. Yes, that's just a preliminary note. I hope I haven't forgotten anything now. Exactly. I had told you that I have a course over the weekend, which actually runs from 9 to 6, from Friday to Sunday. These readings will be released on Sunday. At some point during the day, the remaining spring readings will be released on all channels. And I will actually also try to publish the weekly reading on all channels from now on. So that's actually my project that I want to start right now. As mentioned, the remaining spring readings will come out sometime on Sunday during the day. And then starting Monday, the April readings will follow. First the monthly reading, then the me and my counterpart reading. I know I still have a few love readings open about what's coming up in love for you. I think I will also do those this week, but I also have a few appointments this week. I'm not sure how I will manage all of it. Then we also have the new moon this week, for which an oracle will be released. Then we have Neptune, which is growing in the sign, and I actually would like to make a video about that as well. That's why I just have to see. Maybe I'll do it like this. I'll first do the April readings because they are a priority. Then I'll do the remaining love readings. I think there are still 7 left of the what's coming up in love for you readings, the timeless ones, and after that I'll do the me and my counterpart reading. They will probably spill over into April, but everything is somewhat timeless anyway. A reading comes out every month for this series, so if it extends a few days into April, I think it's not too bad. So I think I'm done with the complaining. Yes, as I said, such things are not acceptable to me at all. I just wanted to mention it once, and with that, the matter is settled for me because I don't celebrate or like such things at all. All right, as I said, we're looking at the week of the 24th. Until the 30th of March, the weekly readings won't be too long. Of course, the intro I speak will be included in every zodiac sign. That always takes longer than the actual reading. As I said, it's all a message, and it's all important for the next week, not just the card reading. And ultimately, these are weekly readings. Almost every day, a video is released on my channel, so I can't make all videos 30 minutes long. That just doesn't work. As I said, if someone doesn't like it, they are welcome to take the door and just leave. So what's coming up this week? We have right on Monday the 30th on the 24th. In March, we have the Sun conjunct Mercury. Mercury is currently at 4 degrees Aries. It's retrograde, which means it's going back into Pisces. I had told you about it. It was at 9 degrees Aries, is now at 4 degrees Aries. And indeed on Monday, we might experience major turning points, or a major turning point might occur. It could also be that something from the past comes up again, something that we want to bring forward. Especially since Mercury represents our mind, also outward communication. The sun always illuminates this. They are practically right next to each other. So they are directly, let's say, in the radix, they are right next to each other, the conjunction. And this can indeed also mean, yes, where should it go for you now? In which direction should it go now? In general, what, how, what, where? So it can indeed mean where to with you. Where to with you? How should it move forward now? This is indeed the case with Mercury conjunction. So Sun conjunction Mercury, it can indeed be directly on Monday that you feel it, right? The energies, or rather, yes, the energies, they know no time. They are there, they are already there now. Because one feels it earlier, the other feels it later. Then on the 27th of March, we have Venus in retrograde conjunction Neptune. So I would actually take this week. Yes, time for yourself. So I would take time so that you take time for yourself, that you also withdraw a bit, that you think a lot this week about how things can generally continue for you, right? Because we also have the new moon. I believe it will be a very, very spiritual week as well. The week will not be easy. I'm telling you now. Yes, as I said, on the 27th of March, we have Venus in retrograde conjunction Neptune. Neptune is currently at 29 degrees Pisces. As I said, it is also changing its sign. It can actually be that we are more emotional, that we are more sensitive, more compassionate. It can also be that we want to heal or want to heal ourselves, that things simply come up, that we are allowed to process things we might have pushed aside, right? Forgiveness topics, also something like forgiving oneself. This is definitely a time for spirituality, to go within, to be with oneself, to, as mentioned, also take time for oneself. As I have already said, it can also mean that major cleansing processes, as mentioned, the topic of healing, the topic of, cleansing as well. I am definitely with the star energy on this. I just have to say, on the 27th of March, we also have Lilith changing her sign. She changes it every 9 years. She is also moving into Scorpio. I'm very curious to see how this energy will affect us. However, she will be in Scorpio until the 20th, December in Scorpio. After that, she will go retrograde and come back again. That's just a preliminary note. And then indeed on the 29th of March, which is Saturday, the 29th of March, we have a solar eclipse, meaning the solar eclipse at 8 or 9 degrees, Aries. Yes, the new moon in Aries is coming up. Restart, exactly. Restart. Energy is a fire energy. This is a very, very active energy. Strong willpower. A new chapter may open. We already had the new astrological year starting on Thursday. That was also, I must honestly say, I actually started something new on that day. So at the moment, everything is going very well for me. I can't say it any other way. So the year is really off to a good start for me. I hope it's the same for you, that you are making good progress in your endeavors. As I said, there was also a topic for me that I had been putting off for a long time. I had been putting it off since last year, and I realized that I have to tackle it sometime this year. I kept postponing it. And now, with the eclipse season, by the way, this is the last eclipse at the beginning of the year, the 2nd of 4. And with that, the eclipse season is also over for now. It will only return at the end of the year in September or October. And it is indeed the case during the eclipse season, or rather. Regarding the retrogrades, I mentioned in the astrological forecast for March that things we have postponed will resurface simply because we haven't addressed them. And that has indeed happened to me. And I can't tell you any differently. Address the things you are putting off. One day you will be confronted with them again, sooner or later. And for me, a few things were indeed already too late. I know, but I knew that myself. But my hands were simply tied. I didn't have a solution for it. And I knew the solution would come eventually, when the time was right. I was then forced to do something else first instead of what I actually wanted. And ultimately it resolved itself on Thursday, or rather, then finally fulfilled for me on Friday. I am very thankful and very happy that I no longer have a problem in that regard. Yes, as I said, some might want to reflect on last year, September, October, when it was the eclipse season, what was pending then, whether you have completed it or not. As mentioned, we have the new moon in Aries. This is a very, very strong energy. This is again an energy for the next 6 months, where I would say, look at what you intended back then, whether it has now been fulfilled, realized, what still needs to be looked at, what still needs to be addressed, what can finally be completed, what can be newly started by opening a new chapter. That's actually the theme, I would say. As mentioned, there will be another video about it. I will probably manage to film the video on Thursday, or rather, maybe already on Wednesday, and then it will be published for you on Thursday. That's how I feel about it, yes. For the new moon in Aries, I'm very curious about that. Yes, that's it for now. And then, my dears, what can I say? On March 30th, we have Neptune in Aries. I think this week, Mercury will also, won't it go back over Aries again? I have a feeling, isn't it going back again this week? Wait a moment, I need to quickly check my astrology tool. So I think it goes again on the 29th, right? I believe on the 29th, Mercury goes back into Pisces again. But I'm not 100% sure about that. It's currently on Monday, it's at 4 degrees. I think it will again. I think it was on the 29th. On the 29th, Mercury goes back into Pisces again. Yes, the 29th. That was it. I didn't write it down. Thought I'd remember it. Well, let's finally get to the last part. The 30th. Yes, the 30th of March. Neptune in the sign of Aries. That actually only happens every 164 years. 164 years ago, none of us were around. So we don't know how it will be. And especially the constellation that is present now, it wasn't there before. And Neptune in Aries actually stays until the 22nd, or 2025 in Aries. Then it becomes retrograde again and goes back into Pisces And then in January, I think it was the 25th or 26th, Neptune goes back into the sign of Aries. So this Aries 0 point is very, very important. I watched a video by Silke Schaefer 2 days ago or so. So when she published it, the last video from me, super informative. There were just such awesome messages in it. I can only recommend it to you. Watch the video. She is a professional astrologer. And yes, she mentioned and talked about some things that are just, wow, what awaits us. A new cycle is opening. As I said, we haven't seen or experienced this transit in our lifetimes. It can actually mean that major new beginnings are ahead, which we are now entering. In general, new energy, new world. Everything will be a bit different. Everything will change, also on a global scale. We feel, I think, the urge, especially with Aries and Neptune, the urge to start anew, to begin again, perhaps also to realize our dreams. Big new dreams, a bigger or newer life. And I also like to say lately, hold on to your vision. And most of you here have probably noticed that something has come to fruition for me in the last few weeks, for which I am very grateful that it happened the way it did. Ultimately, also with my other channels, that was a very, 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 very deep-seated wish of mine to eventually start the English one. Now, I am also available in Spanish or Turkish. And, yes, I am curious to see what else will come. So, at the moment, I am really very, very happy. Of course, there are a few things that still need to be addressed. Which one likes to look at? I just took the deck of cards, and there was the Ace of Cups under the deck, which also tells me that there are very, very big new beginnings this week. Very important new beginnings as well. I also believe that for many, a new beginning is coming this week. Okay, my dears, I'll leave it here with this intro for now. A good 18 minutes have passed. As I said, I'm not rushing myself anymore. I'm also taking the time to tell you about it. A little reminder. I have decided that you will get the 2026 annual reading with a 25% early bird discount. I am extending it for another week. For those who still want to participate, let's say until the 31st of March, because the 30th of March, we're going until the 31st of March. In 2025, you can purchase the 2026 annual reading with the early bird discount for 25% less. Book the 2025 annual reading anyway. I will remove it sometime next month or the month after, and then I will already put in 2027. But for now, it will remain available. And yes, this reading will be released on Sunday. Anyone who still wants the spring reading at a discount can do so until Sunday the 23rd March. Save 20% on the spring reading without any additional code. When you add it to the cart, it will be automatically deducted. Exactly, that's just for you, my dears. I would say, let's start with the zodiac signs and see you soon in the videos. Hello, dear Leo. Welcome to your weekly reading. Before we start, I actually forgot to mention this in the intro. We have on Monday and Tuesday the 24th and the 25th, 2 consecutive portal days. We also have those, I forgot earlier, I also forgot to mention it for the other zodiac signs. For the first 6, for the second 6, I didn't forget for the second half. That's why I mention it. Always remember that the roles in a reading can be reversed. Time is always relative, time flows. And these are always collective readings, general readings. It may of course be that not everything aligns with you, and this reading here will. Yes, and all important information, all important links, and also the cards I use can always be found below in the info box. And everything I currently offer can be found on my website. Before we start, I have sorted out the cards once. We have the new moon, a new beginning is approaching. The new moon in Aries, time to act, and the solar eclipse, a massive change. Under the deck, we now have the High Priestess, the High Priest. Okay, the Hermit, the Ten of Swords. Okay, let's see what will come your way this week. The Star and the Knight of Swords. Theme of renewal, theme of wish fulfillment. You could be moving towards your wish fulfillment here. I have the feeling, though, that the Knight of Swords is not your energy. I have this feeling, also, that someone wants to stop or hold you back. I have this feeling here that they don't want to stand in the way, but rather want to hold you back by all means. The Knight of Swords is very determined. A long time ago, I didn't like the Knight of Swords. It was always the card that I didn't like. Under the deck, we have the Page of Cups, which also tells me that someone might actually approach you. I have this feeling that someone wants to stop you, hold you back from your plans, from what you intend to achieve. Be a little careful this week. Don't tell everyone everything. I tell you this very often anyway. Don't share your plans with everyone, or especially not with just anyone. Ideally with no one. Yes, Five of Swords. This is someone who will manipulate you. Be careful. It's best if you avoid the whole situation, you shut it down here. I don't know if you know the person who's coming, whether it's someone you once had something with. Whether this is a romantic connection or generally someone in your environment who doesn't mean well for you. Get out of there. Take care of yourself now. Do something good for yourself. Above all, I have this feeling that you should now make sure that you're doing well. And you should walk away from such things, or as mentioned, not let such people into your environment in the first place. That is manipulation. That is manipulation. Someone is jealous, someone is envious of you. This is also the ego with the Five of Swords. It can also mean that someone wants to take advantage of you. The Empress. The Empress does not engage in such things. The Empress grows beyond herself. The Empress is very optimistic. The Empress also stands for growth. And I have the feeling that you are not focusing on that at all. Nevertheless, be a little cautious here. I have here now, but also the Lovers and even the Three of Wands, which tells me again that you will make a decision and take a different path. That also tells me again that you are developing into the Empress here. You are placing yourself here on a completely different pedestal. You do not engage with such low vibrational energies at all. This could also be someone with whom you, as I said, have already had something, with whom you were already in a relationship. Could be, doesn't have to be. As I said, it can also be a work relationship for some in whichever area of life. Your environment, friends, family, acquaintances, colleagues, however. And as I said, you are now focusing on yourself and not on the low vibrational. But I'll tell you honestly, the Knight of Swords doesn't give up easily. With the swords, it's once heavy. But you are closing it off. So you will assert yourself. And that is such a low vibrational energy. That is a deficient energy that is coming. Two of Swords. You are now blocking so much that I can well imagine that some people... This person here is blocked. Only actually on the phone, via WhatsApp, whatever, that you have blocked this person. You don't want to hear anything more. You don't want to see anything more. You don't want to let it get to you anymore. This can actually be such a jealous person that you have left. Because you are now at your new beginning. Because you are now focusing more on yourself. And the person is firmly convinced here. This can also be someone who is narcissistic. They don't give up so easily anyway. You have the feeling maybe you moved out of this partnership, out of this apartment, whatever. And you have blocked that for now. Only the person is also blocked. Yes, you won't let that happen to you. But I would like to have one more card here. On these two cards, we will get another card. Is that an old burden? Yes, you are leaving the new beginning. That's something you no longer want. You feel trapped there. You don't want it anymore. You will get out of there. Yes, we also have the Judgment card. Two major arcana, the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Nine of Pentacles again, which also tells me you are leaving as a single. So it can actually be a romantic relationship that you are leaving. The Judgment card also urges you to be careful, pay attention, take good care of yourself. And as I said, I have more of a feeling that you will get out of there, that you will manage this. Maybe you have separated here. Recently, be careful. This is someone who is cunning in every way. Let's take a look. Your moon wish. You are enough. Yes, tell yourself that calmly, so that you also recognize your own worth. You are enough. We just recently had the full moon in Virgo, It might actually be that this energy has already shown itself, that you are now completing or ending something here. The ending, so to speak, and then you want to start anew. That this might have already shown itself to you during the full moon in Virgo. We just had that recently. We also had the lunar eclipse then. Okay, I'll leave it at that for now. I will now lay another row of cards for you in the continuation. Then we'll see what is coming your way. I will draw a power animal for you. Which power animal will accompany you in the next week? Then we will also draw a soul message for you, an angel message answer for you. This can be advice for you or an answer to your question. And to conclude, we will also draw a love message for you. You now have the choice to view the continuation through 2 different links. At least on the German channel. The first link is always the one that leads you to my website. There you can always view the continuation individually. It's very important that you always receive 2 emails. The first email is the confirmation email, where you have your invoice. And then you receive a second email, where you have the button that directs you to the continuation. Feel free to check the spam folder as well. The second email can indeed end up in the spam folder. Then you also have the choice here to watch the continuation through the channel membership here on YouTube. That's the second link. That will then lead you to the continuation of the channel membership. However, you can only watch the video if you are not a member. There you will find a third link. That is the section for my channel membership, where you can sign up for a channel membership. From the second level here, starting from the community bronze branch, bronze, you have access to all the continuations of the weekly readings. And you can always find these links below in the info box and also in the top comment. I look forward to welcoming you there soon. And to everyone else, I wish you a wonderful week here. All the best and until the next reading. Bye bye.